Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we always love having our City Current partners come on the show talking about their world. That's why we're so excited to have with us Matt Lloyd, CEO and co-founder of Magic Apple Technology. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on. We're excited about it.
Absolutely. Well, when you talk about what you do, we're going to talk about phone systems, technology, customer service, so much more. Give us a little bit of your background. Give us the founding story for Magic Apple Technology.
So I've been in telecom since I graduated high school, essentially, in some form or fashion. My dad was an old AT&T guy, so it just kind of runs in our blood, if you will. Back in 2008, actually 2005, I met my partner and co-founder, Jeremy Apple. We worked for a business that just didn't work out too well. That company went under. I grabbed him. I really liked him. We got along. He's a super smart guy. So I grabbed him. We went to another company. That company failed also. And I finally just said, dude, I think we could do a better job doing this ourselves. And so we, with my wife, the three of us went and got a business license, and that's really how we started. The great thing about that is we started in July of 2008. Now, if you can remember what happened in August of 2008, it was a little hard for us to get started the normal way that people do. We would ask for money, and we felt like paupers on the corner, alms for the poor type thing. Nobody gave us anything. We just kind of had to figure it out. I think looking back, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to us, because we really had to learn how to bootstrap and do without and just get things done.
So go ahead and dive into what you do.
Yeah, so we are what's called an internet telephone service provider. This is where it gets really exciting, so hold on, okay, because phones are super cool. Anyway, what we do is we provide business-to-business phone systems and just help our customers communicate better and always be available to make and receive phone calls. Phones, regardless of all the other stuff that's out there, is still an important part of everybody's business. You got to be able to talk to your customers. You can do a lot online and that kind of stuff, but customers still like to be able to pick up and make a phone, especially with your small to medium-sized businesses.
When you talk about technology and all the integration, I think to your point, one, yes, people still need to communicate. That is still the primary vehicle in terms of getting things done. But two is now the interface where you've got phone systems that have all the different applications where you can be on your cell phone and have a landline kind of, so to speak, in terms of the office number that forwards, but you've got access to voicemail that dictates now. You've got, in other words, technology now has made it so much more pervasive and so much more enhanced for what phone systems can do. So talk about some of those technology upgrades, so to speak, that really make this special.
Yeah, so there's a term that's called CTI, so computer telephony integration. And so what that does is it takes the phone system that used to be this thing on the desk, and it's now placed in the cloud. It's put it in your laptop, on your phone. It does a lot more. And with the integration of AI now, it does even more than that. So we're getting into things like AI-driven chatbots on the website that connect to the phone system that all report to the same system. There's a lot of those type things that are happening now. And really, the basis of what it does is still there. It's still, you pick it up, you're making a phone call. But with the technology around it, it just makes it easier to do so. Before probably 10 years ago, we were still putting boxes on the wall in people's offices. And if they lost power or lost internet, they were down and they were done. Nowadays, because we are cloud-based, we're redundant across the country in multiple sites, your customers are always going to be able to get you in some form or fashion, whether it's to your office on your desk phone or to your cell phone or to your laptop or to any other way you really want them to get to you. It's pretty much possible nowadays.
Yeah, just the integration of it to me is mind-blowing, but awesome in terms of what it means for business and productivity and being able to be kind of anywhere and still have the quality of life you want to have too, to be able to get things done. So carry that into some of the questions when you're sitting down with a business and looking at, okay, here's where you are, here's where you want to go, here's what you're going to need. What are the questions you're asking? What are the things you're looking at?
Yeah, so really the main things that we deal with right now, probably 75% of the businesses, especially small to medium businesses, still have that phone system on the wall. So the big conversation for us is just trying to show them the benefit of moving all of that to the cloud. And for whatever reason, phone systems seem to be the last thing they want to move to the cloud. Also, probably because it's the one thing that if it's not broke, we don't want to mess with it type mentality. But really, it's getting that phone system from off the wall into the cloud so that you don't have to worry about a lot of the power, like we talked about. When we had the tornado that came through a few years back, none of our customers were down. None of them had any downtime because everything was in the cloud and redundant, which is nice. And then the other thing that really talk about is service. I mean, I would say 9 times out of 10, we get a new customer from another provider because they didn't do a good job in keeping them. And the sad thing about our industry is we're famous for terrible customer service. So you don't have to be a rock star to look like a rock star. And at Magic Apple, we try super, super hard to make sure that when we do, say that we're going to be a good service provider, that we are.
Talk about what that means for your culture with your team. So when you talk about service and building that strong through line of culture and, being good stewards, not only for each other, but obviously your clients, what does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we kind of have a basic premise, a purpose that we call it. And that's basically to give our customers the peace of mind that when it comes to their business phone system, they know we'll take care of it. And a lot of people can say that, but what we try to do is really mean that. And so if that's kind of the roof and the overall message, there's 5 pillars that we have underneath that to kind of hold it up. And those are our core values. And core values, I think it's important to let people know that core values is not something you want to be, not something you strive to be. It's what you are in your DNA. It is what makes you you, right? So we took a long time and really kind of thought about who we were and what sets us apart and why we want to do this. So when we go through our core values, we actually make new people, we have a core value oath where they basically have to read this statement out that lets them know the importance of that. And then they sign it and we date it and it goes in their file because we take it very seriously. So our core values are, for example, our John Wayne integrity. So it's not just integrity like you see on a plaque. It's describing a little bit. And it just means that if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And that is super important for us. We don't over promise anything more than we can deliver. And we focus on doing that. We love this stuff is another one of ours. So it's about passion. I don't expect people to, I have tattoos of phones and things like that. I don't expect my people to get tattoos of phones, but when they get a phone call, I expect them to smile and to be pleasant on the phone and to act like they're having a good day. And they're hoping that the person they're talking to is going to have a good day. Our awesomeness. Basically, we've got a lot of people that everybody works for Magic Apple has a lot of history in phones. So we know what we're doing. There's nothing we can't figure out in this industry. So if there's a problem, we can solve that problem. We don't point fingers is another one. And that's a big one because in our industry, it's really, really bad when you have that problem and you call your carrier and you say, here's the issue. They say, that's not us. That's your hardware provider. Call them. Or call the hardware provider. That's not us. Call the other one. We handle all that. We are your hardware provider. We are the dial tone provider. We're all those things in one, so we don't point fingers. If there's a problem, we're just going to help you solve it, whether that be get on the phone with you or put us on the Comcast account. We'll take care of it, whatever it may be.
When you look at the geographical piece of this, as you mentioned, you're redundancy and all these things, like you can be anywhere in the nation, but talk about what that means for you and your team in terms of client base that you can really have it all across the nation.
Yeah, so the majority of our business is centered in the Middle Tennessee area, right? Probably 75% of everything is here. But because of the nature of business and the size of business, there's a lot of those businesses that have offices spread out all over. And so as that has happened over the last 20 years, we've been able to kind of grow and expand. So now we're coast to coast and we can work anywhere. Everything's done remotely. If it's a customer in California, we box everything up. Everything's pre-tested, pre-programmed. All they really got to do is plug it in, and it's up and running. So it does give us kind of a geographic freedom to be able to serve customers all over the place.
When you look at some of the trends in the industry, what are one or two that really have your attention? And it can be around the AI, like you mentioned before, but what are some of the things that really have your attention right now with where the future is headed?
Yeah, I think, AI, of course, being the big thing that's out there, but more specifically, the things that AI, it's just making the everyday tasks that we used to do so much more easier and automated is probably the first big thing. So not only from just like what a customer may use, but all the back end of keeping these systems up and running and operational, AI helps a lot with that. The service and support, opening tickets, all of those things. Everything just makes everything a little easier for a customer to work with us and for us to work with our customers. The other thing is that's kind of big that's happening is the use of AI as an AI agent, or to be able to, when you make a call into a business, AI gets on there and sounds like a person and can, help them go through that stuff and give them that feeling without having to have a full-time person doing that, or better yet, free up somebody to be able to do more important things than answer the phone and tell them the hours of operation and that kind of stuff.
What on your end, especially when you look at kind of the stories you were sharing before, but what have you learned as a CEO in terms of running the business, doing it your way? Obviously for you and your team prior, some of those experiences, but doing things different your way. What are one or two things that you've learned? In other words, how have you become a better leader, a stronger leader through this process?
So one of the things we did that was very helpful is we moved to a process for running our business. Personally, Magic Apple uses a system called EOS, which is the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And so there's a lot of nice little nuggets in there. I'd say we probably use 80% of it that's valuable for what we do, mainly, how we run the meetings and things like that for our business, and making sure that we have the right people in the right seats. Those things are very important as far as an organization goes. Preaching that culture, making sure that when we bring somebody on, we don't onboard very often, but when we do, we're trying to bring on people that fit with what we're doing, not only good technically, but culturally a good fit for who we are too. We run our business 100% remote. We had an office for a long time, but we went 100% remote because it's important for us to let our team members have good work-life balance. I don't want anybody killing themselves 8 hours a day, trying to do this job. I want them to enjoy life, make good money and enjoy life. That's what we're trying to do. So those two things have been really important. And then just being a little lazy. And what I mean by that is not jumping on every new trend and, sinking your teeth into it. Let things bake a little bit, because in our industry, because the phones are so important, we don't really want to be bleeding or cutting edge. We'd rather like to let things heal and bake a little bit before we apply them.
Give us one or two tips when it comes to best practices for your phone. And I'm thinking things like, at the Signature Speaker Series events, when Dew was talking about, making sure you have a voicemail set up to where, people know it's you and can leave a voicemail. But what are one or two things for us to get the most effective use out of our phones?
We tell our customers, if you reach out to us once a year, let's do a review. Let's talk about your business, what's going on, because 9 times out of 10, there's features and things that your phone system can do for you that you don't know about, that could be beneficial to what you're doing today, which may not have been beneficial or needed a year or two ago. The other thing is to review those contracts every 2 or 3 years, just to look at them, because the cost can go down or the amount that you get for that same cost can go up. So there's value that you could be leaving on the table. So you definitely want to review those regularly.
Good stuff. Talk about community engagement. So for you in Middle Tennessee, for your team, talk about the importance of being involved. And I love the fact that you mentioned before, like that work-life harmony and being able to have that with their families and working remotely. But talk about too the integration, the engagement in the community, and why that's important.
Yeah. So because Magic Apple is who we are, and we kind of been a low-cost solution for a lot of things for many years, we were a big partners with nonprofits in town. And so your Second Harvest Food Banks, Cheekwoods, there's a lot of these nonprofits that we have gone and done work with and helped out along, and Habitat for Humanity and some of the other ones that we've had for a long time, that we'll help and engage with them. Being a partner with cityCURRENT's been really good too, because they make that so much easier for us. We are a small team. There's 12 of us. We don't see ourselves wanting to grow much beyond that. So we have to be very careful with our time. And cityCURRENT allows us to really do a lot as far as with the community that we wouldn't have maybe been able to do on our own.
Well, we definitely love having you as a partner. We appreciate that for sure, and how you power the good in so many ways with us. And so carry that into contact information. So for everyone who wants to learn more and reach out and connect and have you help them, where do we go?
You can go to our website. It's magicapple.com. On there, we've got a ton of information, not only about the products and services we offer, but about us as team members. You can actually go to the page and there's pictures of us when we're kids. You can click on that and it tells little stories and backgrounds and things about us. So we do try to make ourselves available and make it more than just a phone company.
So Matt Lloyd, CEO and co-founder of Magic Apple Technology, thank you for your cityCURRENT partnership and all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the cityCURRENT Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.